Welcome to the Transform My Dance Studio podcast. In this unique episode, we are sharing our Studio Rise 2020 workshop to help you navigate this new normal we have found ourselves in. Whether your physical studio is closing for a short time or you're staying open, things have changed. In this 90-minute episode, Clint shares what you need to focus on during this time to ensure the impact is minimal to your business, duty of care strategies focused on your team and customers, how to effectively communicate with your parents and students at this time that promotes peace, not panic, actionable tips for managing cash flow and expenses, immediate options for setting up a high-functioning virtual workplace and team, options for revenue streams that don't involve students coming into the studio, online classes and how to make them work, how to ensure your studio makes it through to the light at the end of the tunnel. We hope you find this podcast valuable, and for more support and guidance, please make sure to join our free Facebook group, the Dance Studio Owners Hub.
Going to get started in 1 minute, rocking and rolling Studio Rise 2020. Let's hope we don't need to do another one of these for a very, very long time. I just want to say thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And I want to welcome everyone that's maybe new to our DSOA family. So whether you're an Inner Circle member, you're a DSOA member, or you're really just a studio owner that isn't a part of our DSOA family, and you're just looking for guidance and a path during this time, a big hello to you. Please jump into the comment section, say hello, and let me know where you are calling in from today. A big hello and thank you to our Aussies and Kiwis that are joining us. I know it's super early in the morning for you, and I am going to make sure that I can make this as value-packed as possible. Before we get started, please jump on into your screen and get rid of any distractions. I know some of you have got children at home. That kind of, we can't, there's nothing we can do about that distraction. Hopefully I'll keep them a little bit entertained as well during today's 90 minutes that we have with each other. But get out of all those windows. Don't be in your email. Put your phone on airplane mode just for 90 minutes so we can be together. Have your notepad and pen ready. I have 11 pages of notes, my friends, 11 pages of notes. I am going to keep it to 90 minutes and may go a little bit over. If you need to leave, no problem. I won't be offended. But it was important for me, over these last 4 days, really since Thursday, I've been pulling together my thoughts on what I wanted to share with you, and really to be able to give you a plan and things that you can put in action to really protect your business moving forward as we are in uncertain times. And I want to give you the goods so that we can continue, dance can continue making a huge impact on the world. Before I get started, I want to say a big thank you to the incredible team we have at DSOA. We have a special team that have been working really hard over the last 4 days, that have been working on the weekend, servicing and answering questions inside of the hub, working with our members inside of the Inner Circle and DSOA. A big shout out to our incredible Mel, our member success director. Jump in the comment section, guys, and say, we love you, Mel. We do love you, Mel. She's been working extra hard. She's up at the moment, 2 a.m. in Sydney, and she's so dedicated and devoted to this community. So thank you, Mel, and thank you to the incredible DSOA team that we have that have been really, working hard on ensuring our members have the right resources, tools, and support that they need to move forward. Officially, welcome to Studio Rise 2020. I just want to say I've been so impressed with this community inside of the hub over these last couple of days. You have come together. You have supported each other. It has been incredible to see you all working together. And I couldn't be more proud to be part of this industry. I know other industries are having a tough time, yet they do not have the community and the unity that we have inside of the dance community. So congratulations, and we're going to need to keep this going for a very long time. And I hope once what we're going through is over, that this awesomeness of community building and supporting each other continues. Now, this training I'm doing today was originally for our Inner Circle and DSOA members, but when I met with the team last week, we decided to open it up to all studio owners. I believe as the DSOA, the Dance Studio Owners Association, we have a responsibility to help lift up this industry in a time of need, as so many of our incredible leader friends have done, like Misty Lown, like CLI Studios, and we're all working together to ensure that we can provide this industry with what it needs to get through this time. So this workshop is really about helping you to pivot, not panic, and to stay calm in this chaos that some of us are feeling. I said yesterday in the group, we're in a slowdown, not a meltdown. And we're seeing some places like China, where this first started, that are starting to get back into production about 3 months after it started. So my guess, and I don't know for sure, but I think this is probably going to take us between like 60 to 90 days until our lights are going to be back on. And really what we're going to talk about today is what you need to focus in on over these next 90 days to ensure that you're set up for success, because we don't want anyone's doors closing, right? And I know that people are scared at the moment, but I'm a true believer that with the right resources and a great community like we have inside of the hub, that we're all going to be okay. Now, here's the thing, guys. Dance is going nowhere. Dance continues to live on. It has gone through swine flu, SARS, anthrax, a recession in 2008, and dance continues to grow. Since 2014, the industry grows about 3.8% every single year, and that's reported by IBIS World. It's a $4 billion industry in the US, dance alone. So it's good to know it is not going anywhere. Yes, we're in a slowdown, but it is not going to disappear. Yes, the way we do business is going to evolve and change, but our in-person dance classes are not going to disappear for too long. I want to let you know that you're going to be working really, really hard over these next 90 days. Please let your husbands, let your partners, let your family know you are going to be working super hard these next 90 days. But I'm going to tell you right now, it is all going to be worth it. The thing that I know, when we've kind of researched and we've looked at the different things that have impacted the way that we run businesses, whether it is the swine flu or SARS or anthrax or the recession of 2018, that there is always a rebound. There is always a rebound. And what I want to prepare you for today is for you to be able to take advantage of that rebound. Yes, I want to give you what you need to get through the challenging time that we're in today and the coming months. But I need to make sure, and you need to make sure, that you are working on the things so that when the rebound happens, and it has happened time and time again, that you are going to be able to take advantage of that and really become the leader in your community and the go-to studio. So there's really two routes that you can take at the moment. You can act from fear, or you can act from abundance and service. And that's what we're going to be talking a lot about in today's session. The philosophy that you should be kind of really implementing at the moment is community over classes. Community over classes. And this is important because why do people stay at your studio? They stay at your studio, yes, for the incredible training and service that you're providing, but they are staying because of the community. Because you are a second family to so many of your students, so many of your parents. And we need to ensure that that community aspect stays intact. And whether that's from us delivering online, our online training, our online dance classes, we need to make sure that there is a huge community element. And I'm going to be talking about that more today. So if I haven't met you before, my name is Clint Salter. I'm the founder of the Dance Studio Owners Association. And if you didn't know, our mission is really around helping studio owners to grow their business while getting back their lives. Now, a quick 30 seconds about me. I started a dance studio when I was 16 with a friend, sold that business after 5 years to then go on and start a big dance competition in Australia called Dance Life Unite. Sold that business after 5 years. And for about the last 7 years, have been working with studio owners just like you. Every single week in DSOA, we get to impact about 34,000 dance studio owners around the world through our podcasts and our trainings and through social media, which in turn impacts the lives of about 800,000 students every single week. And I do want to give a shout out to our members that we've got on this call today, our Inner Circle members and DSOA members who have been so incredibly generous with each other over these last 4 days. So let's jump into today's workshop. As I mentioned, we have 11 pages of stuff to go through. Some topics that we're going to be covering today. We're going to be talking about finding your inner strength and the best practices so that you can really step up as a leader. We're going to be talking about enhancing your customer experience so that your customers stay enrolled. We're going to be talking about how to protect your finances. I know that that is a concern for so many of you. I've got a great bunch of strategies that you can implement to help you today. How to shift your marketing, because the normal marketing of like enrolling a class is very different at the moment. So I'm going to be talking to you about what you need to do from a marketing perspective. And no, it's not stopping your marketing. You need to keep going. Where you should be focusing your time, how you should be leading your team, and tips if your studio is still open. And we're also going to be talking about how we're tweaking the business model for a dance studio during this time where your physical doors may be shut, but your digital doors may be opening. I promise I'm going to give you everything I got in about 90 minutes or 2 hours. And we're going to keep the conversation going. So the first thing I want to talk about is your mindset, because here's the thing. I always say, if you don't work, nothing is. I mentioned before, we need to be really practicing calm over chaos and peace over panic. I actually have it written on a Post-it note here at the moment so I can remind myself of these very simple but impactful philosophies. And when you practice these can be then taken down to your team members, passed on to your students, and passed on to your parents, because we don't need panic and we don't need chaos at the moment. We need to create as much normalcy as possible in our studio family. And you've got an option at the moment. You have the option to do two things. You can either surrender to what is going on, or you can succeed. And I think everyone on this call today, I think you guys are the people that want to succeed, right? Let me know in the comment section, type succeed. If you want to succeed and not just surrender to the circumstance that we're in at the moment, let me know in the comments section. Here's the thing, there is a lot of news going on, right? You could spend all day scrolling through social media, scrolling through CNN, the New York Times, seeing what is going on. And here's what I've seen. People are spending 90% of their time focused on what is happening in the world that is unfortunately out of our control. And only 10% of their time on their business, growing their business, looking after their customers, making sure that they're pivoting to match what's going on in the market. And guys, if that is you, I want you to switch that around. You should not be ignorant to what is happening. I do not want you to be delusional, but I only want you spending 10% of your time being updated with what is going on, and 90% of your time focusing on your dance studio family, focusing on your own health and well-being and the health and well-being of your family members as well. As I said, I don't want you to be delusional. I don't want you to be in denial of what is going on. There is a new reality that we are facing at the moment, and you need to know what is happening. Stay informed, but stay away from the hysteria that mainstream media is throwing at us now every single day. The other thing is look after yourself. One of my go-to things, anytime I'm feeling anxious or uncertain, is my go-to is YouTube, and I type in anxiety meditation. It's about a 30-minute meditation. I'm sure you'll see it there. And I do anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes, depending on how I'm feeling. And during these times, I want to make sure that you are practicing mindfulness, that it is a practice that you're doing daily, because you cannot operate from your best self if you're in an anxiety mode, or you're feeling panicked, or there's a lot of chaos happening around you. Because that's the thing, guys, there is chaos happening around us. Although most of us are now quarantined in our houses, in our local communities, there's chaos going on around it. And to protect ourselves, to shield ourselves and our family members, we need to make sure that we have a practice, a mindfulness practice, that is keeping us sane and that is keeping us moving forward. I also want to mention I am not a doctor. I am not a lawyer. I am not an insurance broker. Everything that I'm sharing with you today are strategies and tips that I have come up with, that I've collected, that I've worked with my team on. But I want to make sure for anything that I'm sharing with you today that you do get legal advice or finance advice from your advisors, your CPAs, your attorneys, your accountants, before you implement anything that I'm sharing with you. Please keep your immune system high. I am not a doctor, but what I know for sure, and I was on a call earlier and they're like, you're smiling, you look great, your energy's so high. And I was like, I think it's all these powders that I'm taking. Beetroot powder, green powder, a lot of different kind of superfood powders that I take. I might put a list in the hub group for you guys, but it's important that you're looking after your immune system as well, because emotionally we are all taking a hit and that can affect our immunity. Lastly, on mindset, please stay close to the dance studio owner community. What we're going through now is something we haven't gone through in this lifetime. And I am very confident that it is not something you can get through alone, right? It's not something you can get through alone. Isolation is going to make you crazy. What you need is to have education tools and resources and a community of like-minded people like we have here, studio owners that are going through the same thing, where together you can help each other out. That's why when I see our Inner Circle members on here and DSOA members on here, which I love, it is so important that you are surrounding yourself with people that can help you during this time. Okay, so let's talk about where to focus your time. And this is important to me because guys, I do not want to see this anymore. People are saying like, I've got so much time, I'm rearranging my desk. No, this is not what you should be doing, right? This isn't kind of like a mini holiday. This is where you need to be really buckling down and working out your plan for the next 30, 90 days, 120 days, 6 months. We don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know the impact that it is going to have on our industry, and things are changing every single day. Hence why, at DSOA, we have been creating resources and tools and trainings for our members to be able to keep them moving forward. And every day there's something new to deal with. So guys, please don't rearrange your desks. Some of you are like, I'm painting the studio. Maybe, but what I want you to really think about is, what do you need to be doing over these 90 days so that you're going to have a business to come back to when all of this is semi-calm again, right? What do you need to do today? And we're going to be talking about online classes. We're going to be talking about revenue streams today, but this is where you need to start, because there's like being busy, which is where we just are kind of like, we feel like we're busy and we say we're working 12 hours a day, but we're actually not doing the things that are going to move our business forward. We're not doing the things that are going to deliver a deeper level of service to our current customers so they don't send that I'm de-enrolling to next season email. We don't want to get those emails or text messages or phone calls. And how we do that firstly is by getting clear on what you need to take action on. When we teach our 90-day planning system, which tomorrow, Inner Circle guys, I'll see you for our 90-day planning. You need to be focusing on 3 big things over the next 90 days. What 3 things are going to make the most impact on your studio? And if you have them now, I'd love you to put them into the comment section. What are the 3 things over these next 90 days? We're going into a new 90-day plan, which is April, May, and June. Guys, what do you need to be focused on? And what I'm thinking about is that painting the walls of the studio is probably not a good idea. Rearranging your desk is probably not a good idea. What are the things that you need to be focused on today? 3 things over the next 90 days that is going to ensure that your studio stays open, that ensures that your team members are going to be looked after, and that once all of this is open, you're going to have a studio to go back to. That is the key. Now is the time to build your skills. Education during what some people are calling a downtime is really key. And you should be investing your time into learning how to navigate a new normal. Some of you have already done this by investigating online, how you can stream your classes online, or membership websites to be able to house pre-recorded classes, which we will talk about a little later. But you need to be acquiring skills and education that can help you run this new type of business. Work on those systems that you haven't had time to do, right? Maybe you haven't implemented our 11-step enrollment process. Maybe you don't have our re-enrollment process. Because for those of you that are about to jump into summer, July and August, right, you need to be focusing on re-enrollment strategies around April and May. Right, and you can still re-enroll students during this time where there is some uncertainty, because most people are thinking we're going to be good to go in September. Like, we are definitely back into dance next season, and we can get them in that frame of mind now versus waiting. Right, that's what I said. Now is about planning and preparation. Right, that is key. Maybe you haven't done your fall schedule yet. That's something else you can do. Another idea, I know a lot of our Inner Circle members are working on Profit First, implementing Profit First. That is a skill set. That is something that is going to be able to help you when we go through that rebound that I talked about earlier. Some of you are thinking about summer camps, and if you still are running summer camps, or the studios are open in July and August for summer camps, your marketing plan needs to shift. You might what I like to call a power promotion. A power promotion is a 7-day, really deep promotion to fill those summer camps in 7 days, right? So really think about, where do you want to focus your time? Another thing that I love seeing with some of our members is they're really working with other small business owners who have been affected by this. Right? Other small business owners who have been affected. So look at other businesses in your area, service-based businesses. They could be youth activities, maybe like karate. Maybe look at the local yoga or Pilates studios. Look at the local, the people that are doing, extra training for students. Like, look at all swim schools. Look at all of these places that have been affected and unite together. What I love seeing is communities uniting together, like our dance community, all coming together to find solutions and be stronger and present a united front that says to the local community, we are here, we need your support, and we're going to continue to provide you with an incredible service. And doing that together is really important. Now, customer experience. If you don't have a closed Facebook group or band app or an online community set up for your families, now is the time to do that. We've been talking about this for the last 5 years, but if you haven't got an online community set up for your current customers, you need to do that. Communication is key during this time, hence the templates that we've put together for you guys and distributed for free over the last 4 or 5 days. What I want you to do is communicate, over-communicate with your customers. So, guys, if you do have a free Facebook group where your community is, I want you to be doing a Facebook Live in there every day to 2 days, especially if you have shifted your model from in-person classes to an online class experience. You need to be educating and communicating with your parents as much as possible, because, guys, yes, it's new for you and you're trying to figure out new technology and a new way to run your business and a new way to lead your team members, but new is very scary for your customers. Right? Maybe some of them are questioning the value in online classes versus in-person classes. And I've written a few different letters around that you can utilize to give to your parents. And we'll talk a little bit more about this. But this is a new normal for them too, and you need to over-communicate. So show up every day. Maybe it's like 9 a.m. every day for the next 2 weeks. You're going to show up, talk about what happened. I know a bunch of our Inner Circle members ran their first online classes, whether it's streaming or pre-recorded classes, last night. They've been posting about that, which has been fantastic. But you need to every day communicate with your customers, right? Every single day. Jump on a Facebook Live and say, hey guys, we had an awesome first day of our virtual classes yesterday. These were the classes we ran. It was great to see these smiling faces. and just keep saying, I know this is a new normal for us, but we are committed to our families at our studio. We're committed to providing you with the same service, top-notch service that you're used to. And we're excited to be exploring this new medium so that while your kids are off school and you've got them at home, we're happy to give you a break for 45 minutes or 60 minutes. But it is so important that they stay in routine, right? And talk about the benefits of these digital classes, these virtual classes that you are running with the parents. Because believe me, the parents will be going crazy after 5 weeks of their kids being at home, and they're going to want to invest and get their children part of these activities. You need to double down on creating family. We're going to talk a lot about support and community, and this is important. You need to ensure that you're focusing on this more than ever. Double down on your customer experience. I'm hoping you've been calling them, texting them, and emailing them, right? And really communicating with them what is going on and what are the things that you have put in place to really diminish as much impact as possible to the child's life. Let them know what is going on. Let them know that you've got an action plan, and continuously appreciate them for their support during this time. That is really important as well. In DSOA, we talk about doing 90-day calls. If you're not at the 90-day call point yet, I would make sure that you are making those calls right now and touching base. And guys, when I say like you, this is like for your team members as well. So I know we might have some team members on this call today. Make sure, please, you are supporting your studio owners. We're in an all hands on deck situation. So everyone is like pitching in and helping. Now, if you are closing and moving to online classes, or you've already closed, or you're going to an online experience, the key is positioning the value of this experience. I've seen some people make a couple of mistakes where they say, hey guys, we're going online, here's the schedule. That is not how you should be communicating this. Now, I produced some letters and some templates that you can use around this that are free inside of the hub, but it is so important that you continue to share the value of the experience that you're providing. Every single Facebook Live, every single email, every single communication, every phone call that you have. Because like I said, change is scary, and this is a change. People are used to like walking through your doors and doing a physical dance class. Now you're saying to them, hey, it's going to be online. So you need to deliver them like, here's how you set up your, the bedroom experience. So like best be able to move in your studio. Here's how you'll be able to watch our classes on your television, right? You need to be able to give them those type of guides so that you're making it as easy as possible. What I've seen with our members and those that have already been successful who started their online classes last week is that they're removing all of the friction. Guys, remove the friction. And I'm going to give you some tech options around this when we talk about online classes a little later. But you've got to remove all of the friction. You can't say to a parent, you need to do this, you need to get that, you need to download this, you need that, you need that, right? And they are going to need some things to make sure the experience is fantastic for them. But you need to ensure that you're giving them that information. They don't want to figure it out. Guys, they have got so much going on in their lives. They've got kids at home. They're worried about their jobs, what's happening with their work. They're worried just about the economy in general, what's going on with the world. They want their kids to still be able to dance and smile and bring joy to their faces during the days that they dance, but make it easy for them. Because what we want to do is make sure that when we can bring people back into our studio, that they are coming back and joining us, right? That is the key. Some other things that you might want to run from a customer perspective standpoint, and especially if you're working with local community members, is you might want to run some educational webinars for parents during this time. So maybe like get a local doctor and be like, how to set up a healthy home during this time. Maybe you want to interview a couple of your teachers. Guys, Broadway has closed their shows. Theaters have closed. There are a lot of Broadway actors at the moment. There are a lot of dancers from companies at the moment that are sitting at home. Reach out to them via Instagram and ask if you can interview them for your students to inspire your students. I know a lot of my friends who are in this space, I floated this idea with them over the weekend as I was coming up with this workshop, and they're like, Clint, I would love to do that. I'm bored out of my brain at home. They're creative people and they want to share. Reach out. Maybe some of these people as well might want to run some type of class for you as well. I mean, never before have you been able to access these people so freely. And so think about how you can add additional value to your customers. Maybe you want to run some fun competitions online as well. I know there's been a stack of ideas that have been posted in the IC. Tanya has posted some great ideas around how to just engage your community, your dancers, your dance families online. So you might want to run a competition where they're maybe like practicing part of their recital routine and then they're posting it in the closed Facebook group or inside. Maybe I know some of you are using the Band app as well. Maybe they're posting it there. Maybe you can do like a fun, like a mini like online competition. So I know a lot of competitions have closed or postponed. Maybe you want to create your own internal dance competition, which would be super fun and like really unite everyone. There's great tools like Zoom and Google Meet, which I'll talk about a little later on, where you could facilitate running your own kind of internal competitions. I know some of our members are reaching out to some of the other studio owners inside of DSOA and running like competitions within like 4 or 5 studios from different areas, like all around the country. Like that's super cool as well. So think about different ways that you can engage your community to provide value. The other thing when it comes to customer service is take a moment to think about your top 20% of clients. Your top 20% of clients. So think about those clients that spend the most amount of money with you, those clients that have been with you for the longest. You know, what could you maybe help them with that they might need at this time? So think about them, reach out to them, tell them that you're thinking about them. I mean, you should be doing that with all of your customers. But yeah, really think about those top kind of 20%, those advocates that you have of your studio, and reach out and pay special attention to them during this time as well. So we're going to shift in a little second, but before we shift, I want you to write down in the comment section, what has been your biggest takeaway so far, right? What has been your biggest takeaway so far from what I have shared? Jump in the comment section, because what I know for sure is where we get the most value is from learning from our community as well. So jump into the community and let us know what has been your biggest takeaway so far before we jump into our finance session. So let's jump into talking about finances, right? Money. I know a lot of you have some anxiety around finances at the moment. I hope I'm going to give you some tools that are going to help you here. First of all, I want to let you know that you shouldn't stop spending money, right? But listen to this. You want to spend money really wisely. And so my barometer at the moment is what money, if I'm spending money, what money can I spend to ensure on things that are going to give me the resources and the tools to ensure you make it through this time. So I saw someone the other day saying, oh, I'm going to buy some new bars in the next 2 weeks because they're going to be on sale. It's going to be a great price. And my response to that was, do you really need bars at the moment? Are new bars in your studio? And they were like, yeah, because no one's here so we can install them. But I was like, as an investment of new bars for a few $1,000s, is that really a good use of your investment? Is that going to help you keep moving your studio forward during this unknown time? And so don't stop spending, but spend your money wisely on things that are going to educate you and keep you moving forward and staying abreast of like what is happening within our industry and giving you the tools and resources that you need. So I want to give you some ways on how you can prepare yourself if this lasts a little longer. Or if we go into some type of recession, right? We need to make sure that you have the cash resources you need to be able to make it through this time. So the first thing is to look at the current credit cards that you have now, call those banks and see if you can extend your spending limits on those, right? See if you can expand your spending limits on your current credit cards. You also may want to look at applying for credit cards with low or no annual fees. Here's the thing, you're not going to use any of them though. You're going to put those credit cards in the drawer. They're our rainy day credit cards. So if I was you, and if you have concerns around money, and for me, concerns around money are if you don't have 6 months of operating expenses saved away, well then finances would be a concern for you. And so I would be applying some of these principles. So when it comes to credit cards, look at extending your limits, and you may want to look at applying for additional credit cards, your rainy day credit cards that you put in a drawer. Guys, when I say extend your limits on your credit cards, do not spend that money. This is not money for you to spend now. You don't need it today. This is to, hopefully, we're not going to need to use it. But if this lasts longer than what we think it might last, you'll still be able to operate your studio, right? You'll still be able to operate your studio. If you have got a line of credit with your bank, I'm going to encourage you to increase that line of credit. Again, do not spend the money, right? We are preparing for our rainy days that may be ahead. If you don't have a line of credit, please look at getting a line of credit. Another option is also PayPal credit as a lending option. So if you have a PayPal account, which I think a lot of you probably will, you may want to look at PayPal credit as an additional option. I want everyone, if you have any type of loan, I want anyone who has a loan to be calling your bank and ask for no payment, no interest for the next 60 days. I know Bank of America is offering this at the moment. I heard through one of my friends that have utilized this. Call your bank and ask for no interest and no payments for 60 days. Then ask for an additional 60 days of paying interest only, right? So this is going to give you 120 days helping you around your payments. So call your banks, negotiate with them, get no payments and no interest for the first 60 days, then an additional 60 days of paying interest only. I want you to call your phone and your internet suppliers, so any kind of technology that you're using, and tell them that your phone plan is too high. What else can you offer? You'll be surprised how many people go from a $100 plan to a $60 or a $60 to a $40. And why this might not seem like a lot, everything counts. Everything counts. So think about those people that you're, have technology with, phones, internet, maybe utilities, and see what you can negotiate on that front. Some of you have, and guys, I'm just giving you everything that I've brainstormed over these last 4 days. Some of you have additional costumes that could be used as dress-ups. I was digging deep for this one as I was thinking about it on Saturday. What you might want to do is set up an online store, maybe through something like Big Cartel is really easy to use. And you might want to sell off some of your costumes that you are no longer using or won't use as dress-ups. Think about all those kids that are hanging out at home for the next who knows how long. Their parents might want some dress-up clothes, so that's something you might be doing. I want to encourage everyone to hold off on big new purchases that don't have a direct impact on getting you through these times for at least 60 days. So I mentioned this before around the new bars, painting, buying the new iPhone 11 or whatever it might be. Please hold off on big purchases like that for at least the next 60 days. The only purchases you want to be making are for things that are going to help you through this time, give you what you need to get you through the next 30, 60, 90, 120 days. A lot of you have recitals coming up. Please make sure you have been in touch with your recital venues to see where they stand at the moment. I know some recital venues have said that they are not allowing any recitals or events to happen until potentially August or September. So please call your recital venues to see what it is. What their policies are at the moment, and make sure they're touching base with you as things progress. I know there's still a lot of unknown with these things, but we need to keep on top of them. I know some studio owners who have their recital venues have said, hey, we can't do anything till August, I've been encouraging them to look at an early October recital. Now, you may have a lot of questions around logistically how to make this happen, but early October is going to be one of the next best times to run a recital. Yes, you may have lost some people from this current season, but it happens early on in the new season, about a month into the new season, so it doesn't impact your new season too heavily. And it's just really looking at class structures and scheduling around those. We can continue this conversation a little bit later, but I just wanted to touch on recital because I know that it has been a concern for some people. Now, make sure that you are contacting your landlord. Now, I don't think any of the states yet have talked about a property tax abatement, but some of them will. We've seen it in other countries happen, so I'm assuming that it's going to happen here when your landlord will get maybe some property tax abatement. So that should then pass on to you, which some landlords may not do that. So I want to encourage you to contact your landlord and see if they can amortize the next few rent payments into the back end of your remaining lease. So whatever your lease is at the moment, what we want to try and do and see if we can take the next 2 to 3 months of payment and amortize them to the back end of your lease. So you've got a couple of months of wiggle room there. Guys, this isn't a conversation that should happen via email. This is a conversation you should have via phone so that you can really share with them where you're at and the fact that you want your business to keep moving forward. The next thing on finances is to just renew your costs and identify ways where you can negotiate better terms, maybe with your suppliers, right? So think about all the suppliers that you work with. Are there better terms? Maybe they have like a 30-day payment. Maybe you want to push that out, right? So really think about what are the things now that are contributing to you keeping on moving forward, as I've said, and then look at those things that are not and see if you can maybe negotiate some of those costs. I mentioned before that, if you don't have 6 months of operating expenses, and when I'm talking about operating expenses, there's different levels of operation, right? So inside of your dance studio, you have the way you're operating your studio now and those expenses, fixed and variable expenses. Now, some of those expenses, if your studio downsizes during this time, and I talk about, with student numbers, you will then downsize with your teachers as well. And so you want to think about how much cash do you have handy hopefully some of you have done this already. I know we've talked a little bit about this before in our membership, but I want to make sure that you know how much cash you have available, how long that will keep you going inside of your studio, and then look strategically at a plan to have in place where you may need to cut down teachers' hours. You may need to take on more classes yourself, right? There's things that you can do now that you can start thinking of to just prepare for let's just say the worst case scenario, right? And for none of you, the worst case scenario is not you closing down your doors. I'm committed to ensuring that here, and I know as an industry, we are committed to ensuring that doesn't happen. We want to make sure that we limit the impact of that happening, but you need to start thinking about with this. You may want to look at restructuring or refinancing any debt that you have to cheaper rates or to longer terms, right? So if you do have any debt at the moment, look at refinancing that, looking at cheaper rates. There's a lot of great deals there at the moment. Look at getting cheaper rates and look at maybe longer terms so then you can minimize the payments that you are making. Really important. And as I said, get ready for the market to bounce back, right? After every crisis that we've had in history, there is a really steep recovery that happens. And so those that survive in this period will be able to thrive and really take advantage of the bounce back that would happen. Now, another situation that some of you may need to think about is you may want to think about bringing on board, if cash is low and you are worried and you start running out of money, you may want to look at bringing on a cash partner into your business. So like I said, I wanted to give you all the opportunities here. And so it's better to have a percentage of something than 100% of nothing. Right? So maybe what you want to, maybe there's a parent or a family member that may have some funds that they can kick in. An extra 20 or 20, 30, 40, 50 grand would probably make a huge difference to a lot of you. And so being able to potentially bring on a cash partner who would be a silent partner in the business may be an opportunity that you need to look into. So what I want to do now is I want you to jump in the comment section. That is my piece on finance. Jump into the comment section and let me know what has been your biggest takeaway so far from this finance piece. What has been your biggest takeaway? What are you going to do? What's the first action that you are going to do when it comes to ensuring that your finances are protected during this time? All right, let's talk about marketing. Now, if you've been a part of any of our classes, any of our memberships, you know I love marketing, which is all around student attraction, enrollment, and retention. Now, guys, you are going to need to shift. You are not going to stop marketing. First and foremost, do not stop marketing. Please do not stop marketing. But what you need to shift to, your number one priority is brand penetration, right? Everyone needs to know about your studio during this time because my friends, parents will be very excited to ship their kids off to a dance class when we're allowed to go back to dance class because they would have been inside for such a long time. So what I want you focused on is the content that you are putting online and that you are sharing on social media. Don't pull away. I've seen people pull away because they're like, well, I can't attract new students to come into my studio because my doors aren't open. No, that is not what you want to do. You want to focus on doubling down on really showcasing your brand. What are you doing with your online classes? Talking about your core values, showcasing your teachers. For anyone that's on here, by the way, if you're in Inner Circle or you've done Student Attraction Intensive, week number 5 has my content calendar that gives you all of the content that you can do for a month worth of content on social media. You need to be focused on promoting your brand in this time. Be the leading studio in your area that continues to produce content. And while you won't be saying, come into our studio, you may be saying, join our online classes. You may be just sharing your philosophies. You may be sharing the webinar that you do with the local doctor and sharing that with the local community. Right now is the time to double down on serving your dance families and your community and sharing that, creating your brand, building your brand during this time. Because when the rebound happens, those that have doubled down on building their brand during this time are the ones who are going to get the new student enrollments in their door. Important. Now, you may not want to spend money on Facebook ads or Instagram ads during this time. I would suggest that you do spend a little bit of money on this because you can amplify that brand awareness even further. And I know that some questions we've had have come up around advertising your online classes. And that's something that you might want to do as well. Now, when it comes to marketing, I did talk about a power promotion. Now, a power promotion is a 7-day marketing campaign. It is quick and fast, but it is deep and meaty and gets results really, really quickly. So you may want to do a power promotion for your summer camps. You may want to do it for your recital ticketing as well, right? Our friends at Dance Recital Ticketing, the incredible Josh Olson from Dance Recital Ticketing, he talked about holding off last week on selling your recital tickets until you kind of know what's really going on. And so that got me really thinking about using our PAL promotions for recital ticketing and being able to open and close recital ticketing in a short 7-day period to sell those tickets for recital. And so that's something you might want to be thinking about. So right now, do not give up on your marketing plans. They need to change, right? But you need to make sure that you are doubling down on your branding. And we've seen that already. Like, I follow all of our Inner Circle members with their Facebook pages and Instagram accounts. And I loved waking up this morning to see everyone posting like, oh, we did this with our online classes. And here's a feature on one of our teachers. And just like really stepping it up from a social media perspective. And if you want to stay relevant, you cannot hide. Now is not the time for you to hide away and not do anything. Now is the time for you to be fully present and fully pushing forward with your marketing. Now, let's talk about your team. We need to talk about your team because they are the backbone, they are the heart of your studio, and they are feeling as anxious, as chaotic, and as panicked as probably you are at the moment. So as a leader, and I love seeing everyone step up. You know, I talk a lot about being the CEO of your studio, and I have been so proud to see so many of you step up, be a strong leader, have meetings with your team, have daily communication with your team to let them know that you're in this together and you are going to do everything that you can to ensure that they stay part of your dance family. And I love that. So remember, peace over panic, calm over chaos. We want to practice those philosophies and share them with our team members as well. Make sure you have a closed Facebook group or a Slack channel or a WhatsApp group with your team members. And if I was you, I would be sharing every single day with them what is going on. Talk about the great work that you're doing, maybe with the classes you're running online. Talk about where your head is at as well, and give them a window into what you're working on and what the team is working on. And keep reassuring them that things are going to be okay. Because when you do that, they're going to be performing at their best. Their loyalty is going to increase. Their support for the vision that you are trying to execute in this challenging time is going to be increased as well. So be the leader, be the rock for your team members, and then utilize our membership, utilize us, utilize the SOA to then be able to come to us with those anxieties, with those questions that you have. But they're not things that we really want to be sharing with our team every single day, because that's going to make them anxious and they won't be able to do their best job. So please remain in constant contact, because this situation that we're in now is rapidly evolving every single day. Make sure you're looking ahead as a leader. You're in the now and you're sorting out the now, but you also need to look ahead. I said before, having those 30, 60, 90, 126 month plans in place are really important, and take some time during these next couple of days to look at the different scenarios that can play out and what you can do to ensure that you can continue doing the thing that you do. Right? I know that I did it also over the weekend. Is I looked at our business and I mapped out 5 different scenarios that I could see playing out over the next 6 months, and what our business would look like in each of those situations, and the steps that we would need to take to ensure that we can continue showing up for you guys, for our studio owners, every single day. Make sure as well that you may want to be looking, and I know a lot of you have, is look at your policies that you have in place around your team members. So look at sick and personal leave policies. Make sure you've got a clear virus containment policy in place that talks about the expectations of your team members. Maybe if they are diagnosed with coronavirus, if your team members are looking at traveling and coming back, what policy do you have there around self-isolation? And so really look at your HR policies, look at your policies around paid or unpaid leave as well. And this is important. So talk to your attorneys, or talk to the HR specialists that you may work with. We're going to be looking at this. I know for our Inner Circle members that are on here, we're expecting in the US for some kind of stimulus package to be announced probably around Thursday. And we're looking at actually working with one of our partners to be able to give you access to information around, employees and benefits and different types of things over these coming weeks as they unfold. So I'll definitely keep you posted on that. Now, some of you your studios are still open. I know we have people tuning in from all around the world, and some of your studios are open and you are running classes. A couple of best practices that I want to encourage you to do is make sure that there is no one in your waiting room, no one in your lobby, and enforce a drop-off only. I know in some states and some countries this is legal for you to be able to take the temperature of the people coming in. In some places it is not legal to do that because it's a violation of privacy. So please check with your states and your local laws around that. But that is something you do want to practice if you are still running your classes, because I know we have people all over the world tuning in, and I know that there are places that haven't closed down just yet. But check with your state laws around that, but make sure you have a drop-off only policy. No one waiting in your waiting rooms or inside your lobbies. Make sure that you've got your workplace health and safety policies are very clear and specific around hygiene and health. And you want to make sure that you're communicating these policies to your staff, either virtually or in person, and make sure that you have staff sign off on these measures that you've put in place. You also need to tell any subcontractors that you have around your policies as well, not just employees. And really over communicate at this time. As I said, guys, things are changing and evolving every single day. It's a little bit like the wild, wild west. But we are getting more clarity. And I think, what I've seen is this awesome community of people, studio owners coming together to help each other out. And I think that is definitely, going to continue. So let's jump into revenue streams now. And I know this is a big question. And guys, I do not have all the answers. And this is a conversation that we are having daily at the moment inside of the Inner Circle and inside of DSOA, is how things are evolving around executing on classes, receiving payments, and everything in between. And so you need to keep people engaged to keep them paying. And I know that people are worried. They're like, well, we're closed for 5 weeks. I have no idea what to do. People are dropping out. Now, we don't know how long studios are going to be closed for. And if they do if they do open, right, if we say, okay, schools are back on, we don't know how this is going to affect people coming back into the real world. We don't know if it's going to take people a month or 2 months to feel comfortable walking back into a confined environment. We just don't know. And so hence having the continual conversations with your parents is really important. And you do need to be prepared with an alternative. So there are a couple alternatives that we are going to talk about. We are going to be talking about online virtual dance classes and how you can turn your physical studio into opening your digital doors to your online classroom. Now, first up, a couple of things that I have to say. You need to check with your insurance policy if you are able to offer online classes. Whether this is, you need to be very specific with them, because you need clearance for, if you are running live streamed classes, you need the okay that live streaming classes to people in their home is okay. If you are pre-recording and putting those classes in an environment, you also need to make sure that you are covered for having pre-recorded classes, let's say in a membership site that people can access. So far, I've seen 3 insurers that are covering this, but you would need to check with them: State Farm, Philadelphia Insurance, Sports and Fitness Insurance. That's in the US, right? You will also need, and check with your insurers around this, a disclaimer form signed. There is not, I've seen people going crazy with copying and pasting disclaimer forms. Guys, I spoke with our lawyer yesterday, and because I asked her about drafting a disclaimer for our Inner Circle members, And she said to me that every studio owner is going to, in a different state, will have a different disclaimer or a different waiver that is applicable in their state. So talk to your local attorneys and get a disclaimer that covers you for the state that you operate from. Personally, I would be also putting a disclaimer at the beginning of your videos if they are pre-recorded as well. We just want to double down on safety here. As I said, I am not an attorney. I am not a CPA, an accountant, or an insurance broker. These are just things that I have been researching, and you will need to do your own independent research on this with your insurance providers. Make sure that you have the disclaimers and waivers looked over by your attorneys if you are looking into virtual or online classes. The other thing that we need to look at is music licensing. So if you have a BMI license or an ASCAP license, please ensure that you are checking with them what you can do. When I spoke with ASCAP yesterday, their feedback to me and also to some of our members that have reached out to ASCAP was around the fact that you can pre-record your classes and put them into a membership and pay an additional annual fee for doing that. But if you are looking at live streaming classes, the songs that you use have different royalties that need to be paid depending on the songs. So you will need to look into that. In terms of BMI, you're also going to need to look into that. But for most case, they said that streaming your classes, if you're using Google, because BMI have an arrangement with Google, is okay to do. And this is the information that we have received. But if you're using another alternative, maybe like Zoom, well, then you might need to get an additional license. So guys, on the music licensing front, it may sound complicated, and that's because it is. This is the main reason people have not gone online with dance classes, because of the expense that it can cause with music licensing. But it's very grey. It's very grey at the moment. So I'm just giving you the information that I've been protected with. For our members who are joining us, I'm going to continue sharing the information as I keep having calls with different people. I've got another call this afternoon with BMI just to get some more clarity, and I'll keep sharing that with you. Your safest bet is for your teachers to be using royalty-free music, right? Or music that has a low cost royalty attached to it. So I'm going to quickly go through a couple of different places that you may want to look at getting some music. And I want you to do your independent research on these as I run through the list. The first one is Harry Fox, harryfox.com. The second one is freemusicpublicdomain.com, freemusicpublicdomain.com. The next one is soundtaxi.com, soundtaxi.com. Another one is audiosocket.com. Another one is milksmusic.com, and you can look at their buy royalty-free music tab. That's milkmusic.com. The next one is songfreedom.com. They have a monthly subscription. Another one you might want to use is artlist.io. Artlist, not with an S, just artlist.io. And another one is musicbed.com. musicbed.com. So guys, to be very safe, I do want you speaking to your rep at ASCAP and BMI, and I know in the other countries we have APRA in Australia, and there's different music licensing bodies. Check with them and run them through the model that you want to do to see if you are covered. But your best bet is doing some either doing royalty-free music, and a lot of those sites I gave you now have a monthly subscription, so your teachers can pick and choose quite a good range of music as we go through this time, and then at least then legally you're okay. We'll talk about group online classes in a second, but I did want to talk about private lessons. So some of your teachers may be a little worried at the moment because their hours might not be there. You may want to look at doing private lessons. Now, this might be in studio, with our teacher and our student, if you're happy to do something like that, and if you're allowed to do something like that because of the state laws that have been put in. Or you could look at online private lessons that you could run as well. You could also look at doing critique videos. So this is when one of your students may have their parent film them doing their solo routine or maybe some exercises from class, and they send that in, and the teacher sends a video back doing a video critique of that. Maybe you want to instigate something where it's like a 72-hour turnaround or something. They can send through the video file, maybe through a Google form, for instance, or a Google Drive file to you. And when they send that through, you could have them pay you a fee. If you already have online payment set up, great. If not, use something really easy like Stripe or PayPal so that they can pay you that fee, and then the teacher can receive the video to do a critique. So you may want to do a critique, or you may want to do a live virtual private lessons, private classes. You can set this up through a tool called Calendly, Calendly. Calendly is a great tool for scheduling. That's what we use for all of our coacher sessions with the inner circle. I know a lot of our members as well are starting to use Calendly as well. That means that parents can go onto Calendly, find the teacher, and book in an available time with that teacher. And again, you could use Stripe or PayPal to be able to make that work. And then they can run this class on either Google Hangouts or Google Meet, which is the business version, or Zoom as well is another option. If you're running this through the studio, you would pay the teacher, and then you would charge somewhere between a 10 to 20% service fee taken out from that private lesson. So I can see private lessons being extremely, extremely popular and really profitable for studio owners during this time. If it is set up correctly. And I've just ran you through the basics of really how to set up that private lesson piece. This also keeps your teachers involved. It keeps your teachers earning a wage. And we definitely want to make sure that we are doing that during this time. So let's dive into our group online classes, right? Let's jump into our group online classes right now. So group online classes. There's two options for us when it comes to these classes. There is a live stream model, or there is a recorded class model, or the hybrid model of both. So let's kind of run through these. So when we're talking about a live stream, we're using a tool, and I'm going to go through the tools in a second. You're using a tool to video a class that is going on. So it might be your teacher at the studio, just your teacher at the studio with their laptop, their phone, or their iPad, live streaming their class to the homes of your students, and the teacher can teach the class, play the music, and see the kids in the class, right? That is one way that you can do it. You can essentially mimic the schedule that you are running in person, and you can create the same schedule and stream it online. The second option you have is to do don't do live streaming classes, and to do pre-recorded classes. And pre-recorded classes are simply where your teacher is maybe in the studio, or maybe they're at home recording their class, and then you upload it to a platform, and then your parents can log in or visit that website where you are housing the platform, where you're housing the content, and they can see the content. So a little bit more like on demand, right? If you think of Peloton, they have a hybrid model where they are live streaming classes, but they also have on-demand classes where you can go in and look at recordings from classes. So they're your three options. We want to talk about the model first. live streaming only, pre-recorded classes only, or a hybrid model where you are doing live streaming and you're also putting the recordings and putting pre-recorded classes in. All right, let's talk about the 3 areas we need to focus. So we need to focus on the content itself, which is the live stream or the pre-recorded classes. That's part 1. Part 2 is where do you put the content, right? Where you're actually housing the content that you are creating, whether it's in a live stream or it's pre-recorded. And the last piece is where are you housing your community, right? Where is your community going to be? So let's talk about live streaming. And guys, we have looked at so many options, so many. Whoa, our heads are exploding because there are so many options, and we've come up with the 2 best options for you. Now, if you have just one studio room going, your best option is probably going to be Zoom, zoom.us. Zoom is a great live streaming tool where you can see people and interact with people. And if you just have one studio, so one class running at one time, Zoom is going to be a good option for you. Now, if you're running more than one studio room, so let's say you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I know some of you have that many studios running at one time, you're going to want to look at doing Google Meet, which is the business version of Google Hangouts. You can also use Hangouts for this, but we're going to talk about like the Google suite of products, right? Google Meet allows you to have set up multiple studios running from the Google platform. So it's a lot easier because with Zoom, if you want to run multiple rooms, you need to sign up for multiple Zoom accounts, right? So that is different links, that is logging into 3 different accounts if you've got 3 studios, or 7 different accounts if you've got 7 studios. So it becomes very complicated and also a little more complicated to the customer. Whereas Google Meet, if you have more than one studio, Google Meet is a really good platform for you to be using. And so that is the live streaming piece, right? Zoom, if you've just got one studio, Google Meet, which is also Google Hangouts on a personal account, if you have multiple studios running. Now, where are you going to house the content? So when you produce the live stream, they're watching it, but then you're going to record it on Zoom or Google Meet, and then where do you put that content? So there are a couple of places. The top 3 places I'm going to share with you is Google Classroom. The great thing about Google Classroom is if you're using Google Meet, it will sync easily to Google Classroom. The other 2 options I'm going to give you are membership sites. The first one is Thinkific, and the second one is Teachable, right? Thinkific and Teachable are membership sites, and this is where you can create a login and password for your users to be able to access the content, right? So you can set up Susie, and Susie's parent can access her 6 to 8-year-old jazz class, but won't be able to see the other content inside of the membership site, right? So there's 3 options for you. Google Classroom is really easy to use. Thinkific and Teachable, also easy to use, but there's a fee associated with those. Now, I also wanted to mention Band app. I know a lot of you are running using Band app at the moment. I personally have not used it, but I know that someone was saying you can live stream through Band app at the moment, and you can also house your community there. So they're my top suggestions for housing your community. I would stay away from Dropbox and housing things in Google Drive because it gets very messy. Use something that has been set up to house communities, right? House content. Google Classroom, Thinkific, or Teachable. The last piece of this puzzle is looking at housing your community. And I've talked about this already. Make sure you have a Facebook group set up for your current customers. I will mention Band App again because I know some of you are utilizing that. But what we know is that parents are hanging out in Facebook every single day. And so utilize your Facebook group, your free Facebook group, to keep in touch with your customers, right? So from the streaming level, those three pieces, your live stream you can do on Google Meet or Zoom. Housing the content can be done on Google Classroom, Thinkific, or Teachable. And then housing that community can happen inside of your free Facebook group. Now, I wanted to share with you a couple of bonuses that you can include as value adds to offering digital dance classes, because that is the key, right? We've gone from in-person classes, we're moving for virtual classes. We need to ensure we're positioning the virtual classes in the correct way, and we're showcasing the value of these virtual classes. And so a couple of ideas that the community have had and that I have had as well around how do you value stack the offering. This is crucial. How do you value stack the offering? So what you might want to do is maybe as a value add to your parents, you might want to add maybe a parent stretching class a couple of times a week, right? This is just for parents that already are enrolled in your studio. Maybe you want to get them in a virtual stretching class a couple of times a week to stretch out the body, to release the neck, to feel calm. Maybe you want to offer a meditation class. I know the incredible Cara, one of our Inner Circle members from Canada, she posted in our Inner Circle a great meditation she did, with her teachers yesterday. Fantastic. But you can also extend that to your parents. So think about how you can value add to their parents. You need to start thinking about potentially extending your season and people being able to take makeup classes. So maybe during the summer, if we're open during summer, you may want to schedule makeup classes. You may want to put on specialty workshops that are like camps or workshops that are included as part of their tuition that they're paying you now. You might want to schedule makeup classes on a Sunday, for instance, or a Saturday. So let them know what you're thinking and seeing how you can value add to this experience. You might also want to give them a free ticket or a discount on a summer workshop as they continue to stay with you. I know one of the things that we're working on is a credit system. So versus a kind of like dollar for dollar, like giving them a credit system. So for, let's say one class is a credit, maybe your customers accumulate credits and they can use that to spend on things like summer workshops or additional things that you're doing during summer or maybe into the new season. Another idea is you might want to give them access to vision from your recitals for the last, let's say, 5 years. How incredible would that be as a value add to your current customers who continue to support you, is you put your recitals on your membership site or just simply on Dropbox or Google Drive. That's super easy. I know I said don't use it for your classes. Don't do it for that. But something like this you might want to do. Get it all uploaded online. You could find someone on Fiverr to do that for you. Get it uploaded online and give them access to that, because their kids are like going crazy, and just have the kids watching 5 or 10 years of recitals, I think would be incredible value that you could share. Think about any online activities. I know in DSOA we've given out coloring pages before. You guys love our coloring pages. You may want to do coloring pages. You may want to interview your teachers. I talked about artists on Broadway or through companies, creating content to add value. There are a lot of artists out there at the moment who don't have work, and I think would be thrilled to be able to talk to your customers and your dancers to inspire them in this challenging time. Really important. Also, I talked about creating a tech guide. So as you're navigating the technology and I've given you some of the tools, make sure you make it frictionless for your customers as well. Frictionless for your customers. Oh, I also wanted to mention with the parents, maybe you want to do like a fun like cardio jazz class for them or an adult ballet class for them, like throwing it in to keep them involved. And that could be pre-recorded or live streamed as well. So guys, jump into the comment section right now and let me know what has been your biggest takeaway from this last section when we've been talking about these revenue streams and these online classes as well. What's going to be your next action step? What is the next action step that you are going to be taking over these next well, we don't know how long it's going to be. Let's be truthful. But let's say over these next 90 days, we need a solid plan in place. So I know that that was a lot. That was a lot to take in. Just to recap at the moment, we talked about your inner strength and the things to do around your mindset, where to focus your time. We talked about customer experience. I gave you a bunch of tips on your finances. We talked about marketing. We also talked about your team. We talked about what to do if your studio is still open. We talked about revenue streams. We talked about online classes. And for those of you in the inner circle, just a reminder, please join me tomorrow. We have our 90-day planning session. I've extended it to 2 hours so we can do office hours as well. So just a reminder, make sure that you join me for that. Guys, jump in the comment section. Let me know what is the next action step that you are going to take. What is the next action step that you are going to take? Michelle is saying, thank you so much for this help. We need you now more than ever. Guys, and that is the key. This is where you need to lean on membership. For those of you inside of DSOA and Inner Circle, lean on us. We are here for you to support you. And those of you that are in DSOA and Inner Circle, I want to let you know next Monday, the team have been working really hard. We're writing at the moment and recording at the moment the virtual dance class handbook. So we're going to give you, as members, we are going to give you the blueprint for running these virtual classes, because I know there's a lot of questions around it. We're going to talk to you around the gear that you need, how to work with the technology, how to share it with your parents. So members of DSOA and Inner Circle, you're going to get that on Monday, our virtual dance class handbook that we're going to be sharing with you on Monday. So super excited to share that with you. Guys, we have, I'm so impressed with the incredible community that the Hub, this is a free Facebook group. We have put a lot of time and resources and money into giving you what you need at the moment. And I'm glad I could share this class with you. What I want to encourage you, though, is that if you want to continue getting this support and coaching from us and resources, what we have been able to do for any of you that are interested and would like to join the DSOA. Now, the DSOA is our monthly membership program where we have coaching and provide these resources. It's normally $97 a month. I've spoken with our team, and what we're going to do, if you're interested, is you can join us for just $47 a month in the DSOA. And I want to encourage you to think about it, to be able to get this support and resources and tools that we've been sharing with you. And I want that to be able to continue for you. And you'll also get next Monday access to our virtual dance classroom handbook if you decide to join. So I put the link in the comment section right now. If you're interested in joining us and getting it at $47 a month, guys, no hard sell here, right? I want to give you value, but I also want to be able to support those people that want our help continuously through this, as we help our members navigate this time. So if you're interested in that, just go to dsoa.com/47, and that will give you the $47 rate to join us inside of the DSOA community, as we do need to shift back our resources and team to working with our members and providing our members with the tools that they need over these next coming months, 90 days to 6 months. And so that's where we're going to be focusing our time. I'm committed, though, as well to supporting the industry. We have an industry leader call that the incredible Misty Lown has coordinated. So I'm going to be working with her and our other industry leaders to ensure we can continue to support you. But if you do want the deeper level of support and the resources, I would like to encourage you to join us inside of the DSOA at the $47 a month price instead of $97. Guys, it has been incredible to have you here. I really hope these last 90 minutes have been a good use of your time. I know I went quick. I know there was a lot of information, but I really wanted to give you, because time is precious and of the essence at the moment. You need to act quickly, especially around the financial tips that I gave you, because the banks will do what they can do for a certain amount of time. But if you don't get on them now, and if you don't talk to your landlord now, get in now before everyone else starts getting on top of them, and then they start saying no, because at the moment they're saying yes. And so that is my mission and my goal from today's lesson, is to be able to give you what you need to get you through at least the next week, right? Because it is changing all the time. And I am committed to showing up. You guys who invest with us and who are members inside of the IC, Inner Circle, and DSOA, my team and I are committed to show up with you every single day to get you through this. And we will get through it as a community. Thank you again for your time. I appreciate it. I'm wishing you all the best of luck during this challenging time. And I cannot wait to continue working with our members to ensure there is a path forward for you during something we've never been through before. So again, thank you to our incredible community. You guys are just a pleasure to serve. And, I can't wait to keep watching this journey with all of you. And for those of you that are jumping into DSOA and becoming a member, I look forward to working with you at a deeper level, and for us to be able to continue providing you with the resources that we've been doing over this last week that will happen inside of the membership. Thanks, everyone. Take care, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us for this special podcast. To access our virtual dance studio training resources and receive continued support in the Dance Studio Owners Association, join our coaches and community at dsoa.com/join or email us at hello@dsoa.com.